And as always, when we're doing this kind of work, it's good to start with really coming into our body and looking at what's happening from the perspective of awareness. One of the words that Scott Kiloby sometimes uses, is to kind of pretend that awareness is right behind your body. Not exactly right behind our bodies, but just to look from that perspective. And one of the ways that I work with that is when we're looking at it from an objective witness stand, we're not looking at it from far away. We're looking at it from right inside of us. So it's a very intimate witnessing. There's no separation there. So we can see it and have that ground that we stand on, that ground of looking. And we're also completely involved, of course, feeling it. It's happening inside of us. So when we look at something like resentment, we can look at words and there might be specific things that come up. And there also is a very felt sense of that in our body. There's some kind of energy there, usually, in addition to the words or the images. So just from the last few minutes of hearing some of those words, there might be a response, there might be ideas coming up. And all of that is natural, of course. And see if you could let that move to the background just a little bit for a few minutes while we really settle and come into our body and into this moment, into the practice. Take a few deep breaths. Yesterday, we were working with attuning ourselves, really noticing, really paying attention. Notice on an overall basis what's happening in your body. And as we go through the various parts of the body, generally they relax and soften as we pay attention to them. So we could do that on an overall basis. Notice if there's something about your body that you could adjust or soften. What's the first thing that catches your attention? You could lift your shoulders up and then let them down on an exhale. Let your shoulders and back soften. You could move your eyebrows up and then let them relax down on an exhalation as well. Let the whole of your face soften. Move your lower jaw around and then let that come to rest. Relax any tightness or tension in your hinges of your jaw, your tongue, your vocal cords, your neck and throat. Notice your chest, your heart center, your breath. Notice the energy that might be in your stomach area, as well as the physical muscles of the stomach that are moving, that kind of thing. Take a moment to really tune into the breath. Let your exhalations relax your whole body. And remind yourself that you're watching and observing as well as experiencing. As we move into the inquiry, this is particularly important because we want to be looking at what's coming up and not getting kind of overly involved in it. And in that sense, not to get carried away into something, to be mindful, to stay present. You could draw it back into that witness from just behind your body, or however that works for you. And then let's start looking at some of these words that might come up. We could start with resentment. You could hear the sound of it. You could look at it as though it's written on a space in your mind or on a piece of paper in your mind. There might be other words with it too. I resent this. I'm feeling resentful, whatever it might be for you. And hear the sound or see the words as though they're written out. And have a look and see what's your response to the words resentment. Notice what the response is in your body in particular. Is there a change in your breath? Is there a tightening somewhere? Is there an energy? Feeling a pressure in your chest or buzzing in your head? What's happening in your body as you're looking at those words? I feel resentful. I resent my life. I resent whatever it is. What is the energy of that in your body? And we respond with thoughts as well as with energy or sensation. So we could work going in a circle with those. Sometimes we're looking at words or pictures, sometimes it's more the energy. What are the other thoughts that come up? Is it something that's happening right now? Is it something from the past? Really take a good look each time something comes up. We can do the tapping on it. If it's intense, you could have your eyes open if you want. Or just sit with the words and the images and notice what's happening in your body. Notice if there's energy in your body, what it might have to say. We can sometimes put our attention right directly into the energy itself. Notice if it's welcome. What would it feel like to welcome this energy of resentment, to allow it to really be here, and to be curious about what does it know? What does it want us to know? Why is it here? And with each of the images or words that come up, look to see if there's any danger to you in those. Could they hurt you? Could that image make you do something, or is it really uncomfortable to look at that memory of something? We're just giving ourselves this time, looking at what comes up. If it's sticky, we could tap on it or put space around the edges of it. I'm just interested to know more about what's associated with this feeling of resentment. If we're resenting something, there's kind of a built in resistance to something. So, what is it that should be happening instead? What are the shoulds? Could be something simple like she should pick up her socks instead of leaving them on the floor. So, continue to notice your breath. Stay really connected in your body. If there's energy in your body, notice that there's space all around that energy. Notice what the qualities of it are. Is it burning or cold or still or moving? Do you want to get rid of it? Is it okay with you that it's here? What is it that should be happening instead of what is happening? If things are kind of settled, then we would just breathe and relax and notice that. There's images or words. We could be looking at those. Tuning into the energy and sensation in our body, keep a good track of that. What's really happening as we're looking at this? I resent. Really noticing how it feels. What's the energy of resentment like? Without making ourselves wrong. We're just looking. And then look to see if there's something that could be done. If you're resenting a person or a situation or something, is this something that you could reasonably change? Is there some reasonable expectation of a change in the situation? What is it that you could be okay with? If something else in this situation can't change, is there something that you could shift so that it wouldn't bother you so much? You wouldn't resent it so much. And there's often a sense of we shouldn't have to change the situation or the other person should. And if that's the case, that's natural to have that. What would it be possible from you to do that would help to bring you some ease, that would help you to not be so troubled by the resentment? Really notice your body and your breath. And maybe work with one of the options. Just kind of try it out in your mind and see what that feels like. I'll pick up the socks and not worry about it, or whatever it might be. Visualize that whole situation as though you don't resent it at all anymore. Notice what you look like, what you feel like. No big deal. And then let the whole inquiry kind of resolve itself for a moment. You can always come back to it later. Sometimes when there's deeply held resentments, they're not very simple. There are a lot of ideas and thoughts come up about it. It feels kind of intractable. So we're not pretending that 15 minutes of looking at something is going to really change it completely. But see if you can just take a moment to identify any possibilities of shifting something. Is there something that you could do or that you could ask for that would help? And notice again your body, your breath, the energy in your body. We're going to finish the practice in a couple of minutes. So take that time to really let go, to notice what it feels like to let go. It might be that you still have the resentment and that you don't see any change that's possible. Even if that's the situation, could you just kind of put it to the side for a few minutes? Notice your body and your breath. take a break from the suffering of it. And scan your whole body again. Notice if there's anything that you could soften a bit more. You take a few deeper breaths. And then when you're ready, open your eyes.